Hello and welcome again to One Geezer's Garage. I'm Wayne Powell, the head geezer. If you've been following our little video series, you know that we're trying to put a 5.3 liter Chevy V8 engine in a 20-year-old BMW, a 535 IS. And if you tuned in last time, you know that we've actually had the engine over in the engine bay, and we've discovered some of the places where we have clearance issues with exhaust manifolds and that sort of thing. Well, after lifting the engine in and out of the engine bay several times, these old bones started to get a little weary, and I decided that it was time to see if I could lighten the engine up a little bit. So let me show you what I've done to make that job easier. I've stripped off all of the accessories on the engine, the intake, the water pump, all kinds of things, and that certainly helped, but it still wasn't the complete answer, so I decided I'm going to have to get in shape so I can do this. So I've been down at the gym working out, and boy, that's really started to pay off. Let me show you how that even an old guy like me can get it really in good shape with not much trouble at all. Well, I'm of course fooling with you a little bit. That's not working out at the gym. That's called buying a foam engine block and transmission. That little piece came from a company called P-AYR. I think that's pronounced Payer. A guy named Dean Ayers, someone I've known for a long time, over in Kansas, owns that company. And I called up Dean and said, I need a little help. This thing's getting really heavy, lifting it in and out. Can you help me? And he said, you bet. We've got the LS1 style engine block and heads and a 700 R4/4L60E transmission, and I can fix you up. So it's, I think, going to turn out to be a really good tool to help, because it takes several times to get in and out of the engine bay before we solve all those issues, all those clearance issues we're talking about. For example, I've got the car up on blocks so that I can get underneath it with a creeper, but still there wasn't room enough to get the real transmission underneath the car, get a jack under it, and lift it up into the transmission tunnel to see where those issues were going to be. And with this little foam baby, I could lift it up in there with one hand and no problem. So let me show you, one of the neat things about this is that all of the places where there are normally threaded holes in the heads and the block, those same things are cast right into this foam block. There are threaded inserts in there, so you can put all the normal accessories on this to test for clearance and fit and so forth. So let me show you that. Isn't that cool? Put the real exhaust manifold right on there. And I think you can probably see one of the engine brackets that my new friend Ed Rather out in California sent me. A duplicate set of what he's using to put in an LS6 and his M6. And so it bolts right on. So this whole thing now can drop down in the engine bay, and we can take a look at that power steering fitting issue that we talked about last time, and check if the motor mounts are going to be where we want them and those kinds of things, without cranking 600, well, 450, 500 pounds worth of engine and a couple hundred pounds worth of transmission in and out by hand. Here's what the foam engine looks like in the engine bay. Now, a while back I even came into possession of an early LS1 intake, and so I've just temporarily propped it up on top of the engine block to see what it looks like, and you can see it has a lot more. We won't have any hood clearance problems with this the way that we do with the SUV style manifold. And I will say that this isn't sitting completely in place. The engine mounts are not completely in place because we've already discovered where the transmission is causing us clearance issues, especially on the passenger side where the valve body of the transmission sticks out, and we're going to have to do a little transmission tunnel surgery there. But you can see over on this side something about exhaust manifold clearance. We're in pretty good shape over here. We've got plenty of room between the frame rail and the exhaust manifold there. Over on the driver's side, we get a much clearer view this time of how the exhaust manifold clears the master cylinder and the master cylinder reservoir. Of course, we don't have any valve covers or coil packs on, but the exhaust manifold is doing just fine. And we still have that pesky fitting, the return oil fitting on the power steering box, but I think I've located a metric style fitting that will take care of that. So just wanted to show you what that foam engine block actually looks like parked in the car. And I will tell you that with the engine mounts and the exhaust manifolds mounted on it, it's still just a little heavy, but it's something one person can lift in and wrestle around much more comfortably and get into place and check out where the issues are. So this is Wayne Powell saying stay tuned for more developments here at One Geezer's Garage. See you next time.